And so many memoir writers spend the whole first draft just on backstory, and you don't need to do this. If you can just identify the hook, the really compelling piece, it's going to show you how and why your reaction to that backstory or that situation was unique, and it's going to show you how to write the book in a way that's going to compel readers. So the hook, or the most unique aspect of your general story, is the beginning point. So when you're writing a story, when journalists write a story, it needs to start with the hook. It needs to start with that compelling point. And most writers, particularly memoir writers, get so caught up in thinking, they just get so attached to the experiences that they want to write about that they don't realize that's not what's actually going to compel the reader to either A, open up the book, B, ask to see the manuscript after reading the query letter, or C, keep reading until the end. What actually engages a reader is the hook. And it's very hard to find this on your own. The reason it's so hard to find it on your own is because it's very, very personal. And sometimes we attach a lot of shame to aspects of the hook because we've worked so hard to cover over it. It's the hook is often somewhere that, it could be where we've massively failed. It could be where we've had a really shocking or terrible experience. And, it's not that fun to explore that and to write about it. So most memoir writers start by exploring the experience that they enjoyed or they love to write about. And often this is really, really boring. I'll give you an example from a best-selling memoir because I was reading it last night. I'm reading The Salt Path by Raynor Wynn, and it was on the New York Sunday Times bestseller list for 85 weeks, I think. And it was her first book. She's not famous. It was just a complete unknown literary memoir. And the prologue, I think it's a prologue or chapter 1. Anyway, the beginning of the story is so shocking, so terrible. She just loses again and again and again. It's like your worst nightmare. All these things happen to her in about the space of a month. And she does not explore what led to that point. She doesn't explore how beautiful her life was on this farm, for the first 6 chapters of the memoir. You are given the most brutal entree to that story, but geez, it hooks you because you just keep turning the pages thinking, what is she going to do next? What is she going to do next? This is horrendous. What? That happened after that. And then you're so compelled to know about the walk she went on that you turn the pages. Now, if she had started that story with some beautiful descriptions of the walk, the Salt Path it's called, I wouldn't have kept reading. I mean, that's nice, but I would probably put it aside and maybe pick it up in 6 months. I would not have stayed up way past my bedtime reading 50 pages when I really shouldn't have. I should have got to sleep. It's what's going to compel people is actually those moments of decision that are so unique to you, where you made a decision that that probably no one else would have made, or you had an experience that is so shocking and unique and bizarre, and no one else, would have reacted to it the same way as you. Now, everyone has shocking and bizarre experiences. Everyone has, and I believe everyone has an interesting story, a compelling story. Everyone has things happen to them in these 4 major areas that I've talked about in other videos that compel humans to want to know their story. And your work as a memoir writer is to find not what the theme is, not what the compelling theme is in terms of the four areas. That doesn't matter. What your work is to find is how you reacted, behaved, took a proactive approach to this major theme or dilemma that nobody else in the world would have taken. Because the reason that's important is it's going to show you why your story is so valuable and meaningful. It's going to show you why your life is so interesting and meaningful. And it's going to give you the beginning of your story. Don't start your story with the walk, with the beautiful nature, with the reason behind all of the things that came before the actual action. Start with the thick of it. Start with the problem. And don't tell us, every single thing that led to that problem. In the Salt Path as well, she talks about, I don't want to ruin it. How do I say this very quickly? She talks about there was a legal case that led to a lot of the terrible stuff. And I think she devoted 2 paragraphs or 3 paragraphs or a page at maximum to the legal case, which is actually the reason behind the whole horrendous unfolding of events that led her to be walking this path homeless in England. And she only gave it a page. And that's backstory, really. And so many memoir writers spend the whole first draft just on backstory. And you don't need to do this. If you can just identify the hook, the really compelling piece, it's going to show you how and why your reaction to that backstory or that situation was unique. And it's going to show you how to write the book in a way that's going to compel readers. So if you'd like to know how to do this, I have so many free and paid resources on my website. I'll link to them below. I'm also at the moment offering once-off story coaching sessions, and these are really a 45-minute conversation, just like I used to have as a journalist, where I ask you questions and we get to the heart of what your story is actually about, so you don't write millions of pages on the wrong topics or themes or experiences, or not wrong, but just not very interesting. I want to help you find the most interesting and unique and compelling part of your story, because this is what's going to sell it, and this is what's going to appeal to, connect with, and communicate with such a wide readership. This is what the most beautiful best-selling memoirs have in common. They're about these relatable human experiences and how one human made a very unique decision at a key turning point and then went off on a journey. And then we sit there and we turn the pages to the end because we want to know what happened next. How did they deal with the journey? So if you'd like to know more, I'll link to some resources below. I hope this has helped.